Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. See it there? Joe Stunner Boxing. Not bad, huh? All right, let's talk about Peter McGRAIL, who has just won a 10-round unanimous close competitive decision over the previously undefeated Rhys Edwards. Edwards from Wales, 24 years of age, came in with 16 wins, only 4 KOs. Late replacement for Dennis McCann. We were looking forward to the McCann versus McGRAIL fight, but McCann failed a drugs test. What exactly he failed for, we don't know. There are rumours that it was recreational rather than PED, but, more fool him. And McGRAIL now moves to 11 wins with 6 KOs. He's got 1 defeat, which happened a few fights ago, actually a year ago. He got chinned by Jericho O'Quinn from America. Was losing that fight. I think he'd been floored twice. He got up and he just chinned McGRAIL with just one punch, really. That's effectively what it was. It can happen. McGRAIL came back with a 10-round points win over Mark Leach. He then chinned Brad Foster in a couple of rounds. That was back in September, and now he's beaten Rhys Edwards. And this was close and competitive. Make no mistake about it. McGRAIL he started off very, very quickly. He always starts quickly. Fast hands. But there's something about McGRAIL that bothers me, and I think it's that he fights at a sort of set pace. He's very, very fast, moves in, varies his punches quite well, but very, very cavalier in that he comes forward quick with his feet. He's a southpaw, and he doesn't vary the weight of the punch. It doesn't vary the speed, and he doesn't vary the weight of the punch. He does fight in bursts, but you can normally predict what's coming at you, if you know what I mean, because it's going to be, he's going to be loading up, and they're going to be fast hands. Now, you can time speed, which Edwards did a lot of in this fight, actually. And, of course, if you know that the punches are going to be heavy, you know that you've got to have a tight defence. You can't really be lulled into a sense of false security. Edwards might well look back on this fight and think, I should have done more. I could have won this fight. And maybe he lacked a little bit of self-belief early on, because by the mid-rounds, even as early as the second round, he was actually getting his timing together. He's an orthodox fighter, getting his timing together, landing 1 or 2 nice little counters, but he couldn't quite put his foot on the pedal. It was normally McGRAIL who was being the proactive one. He was punching first, and at times he was punching last. But nevertheless, Edwards, as the rounds ticked by, began to land. And it was round about the middle rounds, you were thinking, okay, Edwards he's doing all right here. Now, he did have a left eye, not really, an injury of sorts. It was a sort of swelling. It wasn't impairing his vision, but he did have quite a sort of ledge over bit of a swollen ledge over one of his eyes, his left eye. Can't go swimming and not get wet, of course. But McGRAIL had the worst injury. Again, it didn't impair his vision, but it was a cut down the side of the right eye, quite a nasty slice. Fortunately for him, the blood was running down the side of the face, not into the eye. But nevertheless, it became a very competitive, grueling fight, and Edwards was landing some nice little counters, letting his hands go. Maybe it was a southpaw stance that took him out of his comfort zone early on, but he found a way of countering. He left it a bit too late and wasn't cavalier enough. He wasn't firing enough punches, quite simply. And McGRAIL looking flashier because of the speed, because of the lots of sharp feints and aggressive feints, and you just got the feeling that Edwards was fighting too defensively, which was a shame for him, because I felt this was a fight he could have won with it. But if he'd had a bit more experience, this was, of course, in Riyadh, on the undercard of the Fury Usyk rematch. And he said beforehand, this is my chance to change my life, and so on. So, well, yeah, it was. And he didn't disgrace himself by any stretch of the imagination. But he'll probably look back with his team, and they'll think, because his team were going mad at him in the corner, especially in the second half of the fight. You can do this, you do this, don't do this. They really could see what I think the rest of us could see, and that is that this was within the grasp of Edwards actually pinching an upset here. Now, the scorecards were 2 lots of 96-94, which is what I had it. and won 96-95. And McGRAIL, I thought McGRAIL won the fight, no problem there. But again, I repeat, the fact that he was clipped quite a bit by a light puncher in Edwards, only 4 KOs in 16 fights, and the fact that he was cut, and the fact that he just looked a bit out of his comfort zone. When you push him back, when you get the hang of that speed and you get the timing right, he can look very, well, not very, maybe a little bit vulnerable. I won't say very vulnerable, but a little, yeah. I just get the feeling that that once he moves up and he finds someone who's got a lot of savvy, a lot more savvy, a lot of, a bit of ring now, so high ring IQ, he might get found out. In a sense, McGRAIL reminds me a little bit of Amir Khan, and it's all flash and dash. But once someone, like, you remember Amir Khan against Terence Crawford as an example. Crawford floored him in the first round. He just timed him. Khan started with fast hands, and Crawford had seen it all before, timed him, bang, he was on the floor. No, I'm not saying McGRAIL's got Khan's chin, because Khan had a below average chin, to put it mildly, but I just wonder, being chinned by Jericho Quinn meant that has he learned his lesson? I don't know. If he thinks Jericho Quinn got rid of him just on a lucky punch, I think, that's a mistake. It wasn't a lucky punch. If you look back at it, again, he timed him. So I'd like to see a bit more variety and a bit more, certainly tighten up the defence for McGRAIL. If he does that, okay, maybe he can win belts. I don't know about world level. I think I'm not thinking world level, European level maybe. As for Rhys Edwards, 24 years old, 4 years younger than McGRAIL, yeah, he can come again. There was some skills there. There was some good work he did there, and I think his stock will rise. But hopefully, he'll pick up a little bit more self-belief. He needs to be a bit more aggressive. There's nothing wrong. You can box aggressively on the back foot. You don't have to steam in, come forward. People make that mistake. No. You can box on the back foot. But he needs to punch first more. He needs to be the last one to punch. He needs to, if something's coming at him, he needs to learn how to punch through the punches. Punch with the puncher. But we'll see. It's all a learning process. No shame in for Edwards losing this fight. So, what did you think? Let me know your comments below. Did you think McGRAIL won the fight, first of all, and how far do you think he can go? And what do you think of Rhys Edwards? I think he'll get some work. But let me know your comments. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your views. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hit the like button, because they count the likes. Plenty more to come tonight. Plenty more. And you know what's top of the tree. You know what headlines this. You don't need me to tell you what you do. Someone called Alexander Usyk fighting someone else called Tyson Fury, a rematch. Be there or be rectangular, whatever the phrase is. See you later.